Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call to order the Regional Governing Board of the Southwest Vermont Regional Technical School District for our regular meeting this evening, Monday, September 15th, 2014. We have a quorum present, so we will proceed. Thank you for coming this evening. And our first thing on the agenda is public comments. Do we have any public comments? I guess not. We're the only ones here this evening. Committee reports. Let's see. What do we have for committee reports? Anything from Ed Committee? Ed is not here this evening because we do have a conflict this evening with the School Boards Association's meeting, so we have a number that are missing. We don't really have any committee reports done this evening as well, although I do want to mention to Gloria that we have some new work that we are ready to task to the strategic planning.
Wonderful.
And we'll be meeting with you and probably Mike and Marie-Pierre to set up a schedule and do some work on some future endeavors of the CDC.
Wonderful. And I have my calendar in case we want to do it tonight.
Very good. Very good. There's a good possibility we'll get through this agenda early, so we probably will. Good.
Oh, somebody's
Have to go around.
Yeah.
You have to go around. Go around and come in the front door. Heidi, is that you?
Probably is. Minutes from the August meeting were posted in the Dropbox, and I need a motion for those to be accepted.
Make a motion to accept it. Second.
It's been moved by. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry we locked you out. No, it's all right. Right now, we have a motion on the floor to accept the minutes of the August meeting. Any discussion on those minutes? None? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand.
I'm abstaining. I wasn't here.
You weren't here. That's understandable. Okay. All right, those pass. We have payroll warrants number 5, number 1006, number 6, 1008. And we have vendor warrants number 1007 and 1009. Those are also in our Dropbox. Can I have a motion to accept the payroll and vendor warrants?
I
Make that
so
mo-
moved.
Second.
Gloria has made the motion and Kevin has seconded it. Any discussion on those? The vendor warrants were pretty hefty, and that's normal for this time of year because we're ordering all our supplies, et cetera, and equipment. So. And we also pay off a lot of our insurance bills and those yearly subscriptions that come around this time of year. All right. Any further discussion on those? Seeing none, then all in favor of accepting the payroll and vendor warrants? And that's unanimous. All right. We have our financials in there, our cash flow statements, revenues and expense. And is there any questions or concerns on those? All right. We do have some information under action items from Stephanie this evening on another matter we'll address. Then we'll go right into the superintendent's report. Mike?
All right, thank you. Good evening. I'd like to start off with saying we had an excellent start to the school year this year on August 25th. It was the first day with faculty and staff back in the school year. We had 3 days of professional development. The first day with the theme of team building and colleagueship. We did a treasure hunt theme this year with several local businesses to build camaraderie and colleagueship. And I'd like to thank Evans News, the Redemption Center, the Knotty Pine Motel, the Battle Monument Gift Shop, the Bennington Museum, Sunset Playland, Mount Anthony Country Club, and the Bennington Bookshop for their help and participation in the event. It was well received. We had a lot of a good time, and the faculty and staff seemed to really enjoy it and build some strong relationships that day. So it was an excellent opening. The afternoon session on the first day was school goal setting and some 2014 and 15 initiatives that we'd like to undertake as a school, and some of the things that I'd like to see as a superintendent us to do here at the school. One of those is an example I think I spoke about at the last meeting, is partnering with all the elementary schools to do outreach with them. This afternoon at 4 o'clock I met with one of the first elementary schools to talk about what we can do to bring our programs to the elementary schools. So that would be all of our elementary schools, not just in Bennington. We're also looking at Arlington and potentially up in Manchester. But we're starting off here first. So we're excited about that. It has a lot of good promise to it, and it's a great way to get our name out there. Last year we started, 2 years ago, with 7th and 8th grade tours to the middle school. That has proven to be very successful in our short block, our introductory programs, or classes rather. This year, almost all of them are either at or over capacity, our short block programs, and 90% of those surveyed by the counselors next door at the high school said, "How'd you find out about that class?" And they said, "Well, the tour we took with the 8th grade." So clearly they're working, and that's only going to pay off in the future for us with program enrollment, which is what we ultimately want, but those students have been exposed to classes here at the Tech Center as early as 9th grade, now that they're in our classes, so that's excellent. So day 2 of in-service, we had Melissa Shea here from the Department of Children and Family Services to do a morning training with us on mandated reporting and child abuse and how that process works, and how to contact DCF in the event you learn of something, what a mandated reporter is, and all those things around that. It was a great presentation. It was a couple hours long, a lot of good questions from the faculty and staff on what events lead to mandated reporting and what don't. So it was an excellent training put on by DCF. The afternoon of day 2, we had a presentation by a faculty member, Stephanie Peters, on integrating higher standards into programs and adding academic rigor into everyday lessons. And it was well received by the faculty and staff. It was an afternoon workshop where they got to pair off and talk about curriculum. It was very nice to see all the ideas that were shared, which is very unique. Automotive is very different than culinary and very different than cosmetology, yet they all have the same theme behind them about good teaching and curriculum and classroom management. So it was really nice to see the faculty and staff come together and speak about the outcomes for our students, and it was excellent. The third day of in-service was a teacher-designated day to get classrooms ready for the first day of school, and actually finish up their assignments from the night before and come back and share their curriculum templates and updates that they did. We had a great start. First day of students went very well on all accounts, as best as it can go. A couple other updates. We are finalizing this week the candidate for cosmetology. We have had a couple of interviews, and we are having another one tomorrow morning at 7:30. So we're hoping to bring that candidate to the board soon. We've been trying. With that, we are looking for an additional paraprofessional to add to our staff to cover safety-sensitive programs in some of our environments. And I'll give you an example. Some of our short blocks, as I mentioned earlier, are full or at capacity, with some, like building trades, for example, being 17 or 18 students. That's good, but those programs need an extra set of eyes, and we just do not have enough paraprofessionals in the building to cover all the classes that need additional help, to cover driving, to cover duty. One calls out sick and it throws a whole wrench into everything. So we really are in need and looking for an additional para to cover those programs, particularly for the safety-sensitive programs. We don't put any students in jeopardy. So that's the main goal for that. We're still looking for an assistant director. We advertised back in July and had some interviews, and we're going to hopefully repost that here. We're still looking for an assistant director. Let's see, initial enrollment. This year, as the board knows, we have lost a couple programs and classes for various reasons. And initially looking, I'm happy to report that even though we've lost a couple of those programs and classes, that our enrollment appears to have remained stable, which means that we've absorbed or picked up the students we would have lost in some of those programs. So that's good news. I don't have concrete numbers for you yet, but I'm just, from observation in classrooms, we are, particularly in our short blocks, at capacity, which is very good. So enrollment is at least stable from last year. It hasn't really increased or decreased, but considering we lost a few programs and classes, I think that we're doing very well. With that, I would like to turn over the remainder of my report to Marie-Pierre, who has some information for you about some programs she's been working on, and she's going to be very proud to tell you about. So, Marie-Pierre?
Yes. Thank you very much for passing the mic to me. I just wanted to let everybody know that it is official. The CDC now has an LNA program. So, there. I've been working on it since I've been here, so it's a little over 2 years. And what is really outstanding is how the community really worked together to make this happen. First year didn't go too well, but after that, Karen Post from the hospital and Peg Daly have provided amazing support, but also from the Department of Labor, Melanie Letourneau, Aaron Dixie, and Don White. From Creative Force Solutions, Brian Mahoney, and also Rob Rathman from BCIC. And we have our first class starting this week, and it's really wonderfully exciting. And we are going to have a big celebration. You know, we're going to start, and then we will have an official opening. We also had wonderful support from building trades. We needed a wall so that we had in the classroom an area that looked like a hospital room. So now we have that. Kathy Slade from Medical Professions really allowed us to take over that corner. The hospital donated the two beds, bedside tables, and things like that. Department of Labor gave us a wheelchair. Perkins, thanks to Mike, we got mannequins. They're a little creepy, but we have the mannequins we need to work with. It is going to be absolutely amazing, and it is a big deal for us because the need is so unbelievable that we have not even started advertising and talking about the LNA program, and we already have had more than 50 applicants. Our first classes are full. We have 3 scheduled. The Board of Nursing, the Vermont Board of Nursing came down. They were so impressed with our school, how well organized we were. Our application did not require any questions from them. It was perfect. We're very proud of it. And I'm just so excited. I just can't believe we actually are starting. We have 2 instructors. The state requires us to have 1 instructor for 5 students in a class when they are doing their clinical. So they will be in the classroom for, 60 hours, I think. 60 hours, and we have 1 instructor then. And then when they go to Crescent Manor, who has agreed to be our clinical site, we'll have a 2nd instructor. We're working together with Beck Daly and these 2 instructors, whose names are Beth Jamchak and Trish, I forgot the last name. We just hired her this morning. And we're working together to develop the curriculum. So my responsibility as one of the 2 program managers is to make sure that we have the educational component well taken care of. And then our nurse is actually doing the same thing from the medical perspective. So our intentions are very modest. We just want to be the best LNA program in the state of Vermont. And we have every intention of doing that. As part of our process, the Department of Labor actually interviews and screens every single applicant to the LNA program. So we don't have to deal with fingerprinting and criminal checks and all that. When we get these applications, they've already been vested. Then the instructor and I interview and talk to absolutely every single candidate, and we assign them to a cohort 10 at a time so that we know they are going to do as well as they can. We put them within, so that they can work within their strengths, and if somebody has a weakness, someone else can help them. We're trying to create a group of people that will support each other. And because ultimately, I don't know about you, but I know they might be looking after me 20 years down the road, and I'd rather have someone who's really, really good at it. But it's been wonderful to meet every single one of the people we've talked to. It is time consuming to do it that way, but the state prefers it and actually appreciates the fact we're doing that. So, you will know when we have our big opening. We want like state legislators and all that. We want a big shindig something. So.
I can't say how pleased enough we are about hearing this news, because this is terrific news for the community, for the Bennington County community. For us to stand up here this evening and announce that we have a licensed nursing assistants licensing program, and what a benefit it is for the community to be able to come here now and be trained in an area where there's a demand, and there's a big demand, and we can train students for the job and the workforce in the area. It's definitely what we're here for. And I want to thank Marie-Pierre, our whole heart, for the board, and the hard work you put into this. I know it's taken you well over a year to accomplish this and go through all the process. You've done a stellar job, and we're very proud and looking forward to seeing this adaptation and the first graduates come out of the program. Thank you so much. Okay.
Marie-Pierre, cannot jump the hook yet. Can you talk about the glasses that are before the board members tonight? A little bit about them?
Yes. Mike and I were trying to find something that really was special for our opening in service. And the cat is really our mascot, has become our mascot. So we talked about, it was really a joint conversation that we had, and we designed these glasses. So they're for you to take home, they're your very own, and you will be seeing the cat as often as you can. We actually went to Catamount Glass to get these done. It is one of the things that we all try to do, which is work with our local companies. And they were outstanding. I went there on Monday, I had my glasses by Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and, you know, enjoy.
Thank you. Special thanks to Catamount Glass for providing these 16 ounces. Now if we can just get something to put in it. Okay. You were set, Mike?
I'm all set, thank you.
All right. For the chair's report this evening, I'm going to be brief, but I want to mention that the Secretary of Education is in Manchester speaking this evening, and we do have some members there covering that. And I'm pretty sure she's going to address the letter she recently received from the governor on giving her direction about where she thinks education, or he thinks education, and her attention should be focused. And I'm not sure if you all got a copy of that letter or read it. I know it hasn't really surfaced in the media yet, but there was a paragraph in here that really stood out to my attention that I want to make the board aware of, as well as the public. So I'm going to read this from the governor's letter to the Secretary of Education. This paragraph reads, "The intersection of education and the workforce, given the cost of the former, may never have been so crucial to get right. While much attention has been focused on the adaptation of Common Core standards for K-12 schools, one area we hope doesn't get lost in the shuffle is bulking up trade and vocational education. For a large number of students, acquisition of such skills would be, in this globalized economy, a ticket to upward social mobility that seems increasingly harder than the recent decades past. More investment here by state, local, and federal entities would be money well spent. And to the extent that such educational options are somehow inferior to the traditional four-year college route, well, that seems so 20th century." So we are, again, spotlighted for what we do and what our mission is. And we're recognized as to how critical it is for the students that we serve by the governor, and I'm sure the Secretary of Education feels the same. And I'm sure we feel the same here. So we will continue to charge on and do what we can to encourage our legislators as a body and work as a team with our finance committees and our budget building process, and charge forward to make sure that the students here in this community get the best and ample opportunities to experience vocational technical education and training. That's all I wanted to report for this evening. Okay. Get back to the agenda. Got to bring it back up. We have no executive session this evening. On the action items, we have a request for an amendment on the superintendent's contract that we approved a couple months back. And Kevin's going to make that action.
I'd like to make the motion that we approve the standard 3-year contract for our superintendent.
Okay. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, the motion is seconded, and we're open for discussion. I can tell you that I was approached by a couple people about, rather than a 1-year contract, we thought it would be a good message to the community, to the faculty and staff, that we offer Mike a 3-year contract rather than one, to show our support for the work that he's about to undertake in his endeavor and the work he's done for us in the past. It is a standard 3-year contract that reads the salary for this year, which we've already approved, but the next 2 years, it reads how it's based upon evaluation and negotiations. So we will look at that portion of the contract each year.
Jim, I just want to add that one of my concerns was that I've been on the board for almost 10 years. Within those 10 years, we've had 5 directors. So I think we really need to show that the teachers, the staff, and the community that we're behind Mike 100%, and he plans to be here for a good long time. And this is
I would
already
agree.
showing.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it's good for the faculty and for us to
Yes.
know that there's somebody sitting in the seat who wants to be there and wants to be there for a while.
That's
I
right.
agree.
He's young, so he's not going to retire quick.
Any further discussion on this? Then all in favor, please signify by raising your hand. That's unanimous, Barb. Okay. The second action item I have is an amendment to the 2013-2016 ESP agreement, and that was also in the packet. Apparently they made some errors, some typo errors in the agreement, and it has to be amended as it was shown here. Any discussion on this? I need a motion as well to accept this. Amended.
So, second?
Okay, moved by Ricky and seconded by John, okay.
Jim, do I vote on these things or not?
You can on these, yeah, this is the Paris contract. All in favor, then please signify by raising your hand on this one. And that's unanimous approval. Equipment purchase for medical professions. You heard Marie Pierre already mention the mannequins that we're going to be needing for the medical profession training, both in the medical class and in the LNA class. And Stephanie has handed out, right, a document on that.
I'll make a motion and we accept it.
This is for Perkins grants, reserved money. It does not come out of our budget.
I'll second the motion.
So we have a motion from Kevin to accept the purchase of the mannequins with advanced airway management for a price of $6,225.
Is that for one or? For more than
That is for one.
That is for,
That's a good price.
Kathy Slater has mentioned that this will be helpful.
yeah, so it'll be a big increase, improvement in her program. And this was as Jim had mentioned, a special Perkins Reserve Fund that we had applied for with the state, particularly for equipment to upgrade the medical professions program. And we were awarded the entire amount, which was nice to
Yeah, I
hear.
think it's great, it's just,
A dummy costing that amount of money?
yeah, it kind
Yeah.
of takes your breath away, but it makes
Yeah.
sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you can change the conditions and so forth, which it functions.
Yeah, it seems very advanced, and, you know, I certainly don't claim to know a lot about it, but it looks pretty advanced from the specs, so.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your hand then on this purchase with Perkins Fund. It's unanimous. And we have a resolution for People's Bank. I'm going to let Stephanie explain this one.
Basically, we needed to set up or the treasurer needed to set up a new bank account for a scholarship fund for theater arts. And it's policy for People's to have, when a new account is set up, to have a resolution by the school board to authorize the treasurer to be able to use the account. So that's what this is. I guess we haven't opened an account in a while.
For scholarship funds,
Right.
yeah.
So all this is a resolution authorizing Alan permission to use the account.
Do you have a motion?
Someone, second.
Moved by Ricky, and seconded by Kevin, to authorize setting up a scholarship account with People's Bank. Any further questions?
And to authorize Alan
To authorize Ellen
to use,
to access the account.
yes.
She's
Our treasurer.
That
She
makes
is our
sense.
treasurer, that's right. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Good, unanimous. Is there any other business before the board this evening?
Just bring to attention that we are going to begin teachers' negotiations for the next 3-year term, well, I assume 3-year term, starting next Monday, 4 o'clock, over at SVSU.
Good. And I assume you're going to stick right with it?
I guess, until they throw me out.
Good. Good. Yes.
Can I just mention, in case any board member who wasn't here to review the warrants, the warrants are going to increase in size because we have started accounting for the program revenue and also the school store in our, with the guidance of our lawyer through the treasurer, which is something that hadn't happened before. This was something that we would manage in-house and through the business office, but this is essentially a continuation of the monitoring visit that was done by the state in March of 2013, and this is me putting it into play some of the recommendations. So you'll see things that you wouldn't necessarily have seen before, like purchases for Pine State and things like that. We also see the revenue from the school store coming in starting in September. We're going to see that in Ellen's reports. And I can also provide an additional board report to show the revenue that was from the school store.
Well, we've asked for that before anyway, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So
Now,
if you're seeing large purchases for like, food and soda, that's why. It's because it's being accounted for as in enterprise fund, but it is going to the board for approval.
and that's the way it should be. Yep. Good. Good accountability.
But just one thing, I was riding with a coach the other day, and she just happened to mention what a great experience her students had last year with the visit to the CDC, and how impressed she was with the way the students actually showed her students what was going on and how they, how to participate in the class and try different things and so forth. And she was just very appreciative and very, just had a lot of good things to say about it. And I thought that Mike and the rest of you would like to know that that kind of thing carries on for a long time. It's not just,
Sure.
you know, it's not just that one visit, but people are, I just happened to mention that I was on the board, she's all, you know, these visits are just super. Make sure they keep coming.
As Mike's mentioned already this evening, they're reaching out to all the elementary schools, and that does, it makes a big impact. And it impresses those children at that age and keeps them well aware of what the opportunities are when they get here and how they can take advantage of those as well. And as I mentioned earlier, and I'll be talking with Gloria, we're going to be looking at some other initiatives with strategic planning, possibly some summer camps for even elementary and middle school students to participate in exploratory type programs like our program offerings are right now. So we're charging forward with ideas that help the community like that. Any other business? Can I have a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
And it's officially closed. Boy, that's a record right there.
Good, good.
That's our record.
And I see Jim and Mike and Marie.
Yes, we'll stay right here.
Possible date.
Yep, we'll
And
stay
then I
here.
gotta get home.
We had-
Before you go, you
The last
have to
couple of
have
times.
your